Welcome to Art History Monday, where you get to learn about the history of art. Let's go. Today we're in our Crescent Gallery, where you will find our Beyond the Forest landscapes from the permanent collection. And I'm going to use this exhibition to talk to you about the shift from academic art to modern art. Before we get started, there are two things I need to talk about. One, this is going to be mostly through the Western art perspective of history of art. Two, it's going to be mostly of the comparison of European art and American art. So a little pre-knowledge. European art was always ahead of us in terms of ideals, progressiveness, styles, until about the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and it starts to change. But stay with us. We're going to get to our first piece. Now, when someone says the academic tradition in art, they're going to mean a few things, but one of the most common things is how they're going to try to define every little thing from each leaf to each piece of grass. One way to think about it is they want it to be a window upon reality. They're trying to trick you to make you think that this is the actual real world you live in and not just a painting. So how they do that is with very fine brushstrokes, very detailed, and how they compose the picture as well. You can see the foreground, right before that river. It's as if you're standing there in real life. So this is Richard Wilson. He was 18th century from Great Britain. And this is very typical of academic style. Another example is this piece by Albert Bierstadt, who is an American artist. Incredible detail to the rocks. Almost every blade of grass has a brushstroke to make it. Similar to how he composes it, he makes you feel like you're standing there. One of the ways he does that is with this rock in the corner. I mean, it's right up there. It's like you're almost standing right next to it. During the 1700s and early 1800s, the world was in chaos. You had the Revolutionary War going on, Napoleon's going throughout Europe and Africa and Russia, and the way the artists were depicting the world around them was just no longer adequate. So what happens? Get a little bit closer. Get a little bit closer. This is the whole point of the video. This is where we go from the academic tradition to modern art. And that piece right there, we'll explain it. First, a disclaimer. You can argue that modern art started with several different artists, points in history, styles, etc. But for the purpose of this exhibition and this video, we're going to use the work of Charles-François Daubigny, a French Barbizon school artist who was not interested in highly realistic, finely detailed compositions. As you can see his brushstrokes make up the water, the river, the land on both sides, the trees. You see the brushstroke. And what happens when you do that is it's no longer a window upon reality. He's bringing notice to the two-dimensionality of the canvas. So as a viewer, you take the colors, you take the shapes, and you interpret it yourself. It's your subjective interpretation. While I know I said that this is mainly the Western art perspective, you have to talk about the role of Asian art when it comes to modern art, the development of modern art. I believe in the 1850s, the port of Japan opens up to the world, and woodblocks like these, which are easy to reproduce, start flying off the shelves and going to Europe, and they start to impact artists immensely. So as you can see, we'll go back to this one. This Japanese artist, Hiroshige, has a bold, vibrant use of color. He's depicting everyday life. And look at that perspective. It's not like you're just standing there. It's kind of raised up, looking down. All very modern ideals that these artists would take into account. This piece is by Otto Stark, who was another Hoosier artist. This is a pretty modern piece for him. You can see the clouds in the background, really just one shape of gray. It really flattens the canvas to where there's not really any depth going into the background. It's all just right there. A painting we have in Beyond the Forest, Landscapes from the Permanent Collection, that exemplifies pretty much modern art at full bloom is our Georgia O'Keeffe Autumn at Lake George. As you can see, this mountain range is completely transformed by Georgia through pure color. It's almost an abstract painting. The colors create different moods. The juxtaposition of the red with the blue creates depth, but at the same time, she's not trying to trick you with a window upon reality, as we keep saying in this video. That is a painting. It is very uniquely Georgia's, and she gives all the power to you to figure out and how to interpret it and what it means to you. That's it for episode 1 of Art History Monday. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the difference between academic art, modern art. Modern art eventually goes into a whole bunch of crazy stuff with postmodern art, contemporary art. Thank you for staying with us this episode. Next episode, we'll tackle all of that. Have a great day.